Welcome to everybody. Hello, I'm Antonio. Today we have some guests. Please, first we have Arianna on the stage. Arianna, please introduce a bit of yourself. Arianna, can you
Hello
hear us?
everyone, my name is Ariadna. I am from Spain. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, wonderful, perfect. We have all the
Hello.
technical trouble of the live. So yeah, we can hear you. You can hear us?
Okay. So as I was
Wonderful.
saying, sorry.
Okay. So
Yes,
Arianna,
yes.
let's
So my name
introduce
is
yourself. Sorry
Ariadna.
for that.
I'm Spanish.
Okay. And
Well, I'm a
welcome.
Spanish sociologist. Right now, I am based
Mhm,
in Athens.
mhm, mhm.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And
Then we have Davide.
well, looking forward to see what brings this.
All right. Then we have Davide, which is
Now, shall I
some
introduce
of the.
myself as well? Because I
Of
think.
course, of course, you have to introduce yourself.
Okay, so I'm Davide. I am Italian. So I'm currently I'm living in Italy. I'm from Milan, and so I'm one of the founder of this channel, along with Antonio and Ciro, who is not here tonight. And we are very happy to have these two new guests for this tonight topic, which is very very important for us to go deeply to this very sensitive topic.
Exactly. So we will have a very interesting topic tonight, and also we will have the last guest. Unfortunately, we don't have her video, but she will be one of the most, I hope, prompting guests we will have tonight, Miss Natalia. Natalia, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I can hear you, but unfortunately for you, you cannot see me.
It's
I have
okay.
some
It's
technical
okay.
issues, so well, I will be only present in voice. But
You are
well,
too
anyway,
beautiful to
I'm
be
Natalia.
shown on the camera.
Yeah. Well, I'm Natalia. As Arianna, I'm from Spain, from the south.
Mhm,
I am journalist.
mhm,
But right now I'm well here in Greece working in another field, let's say.
all right.
And I'm so happy to be here with you and talking about these kind of topics because
Mhm.
I think it's important to give some space to this to this topic of reality that happen in our society.
All right. So, of course, the our guests have a bit teased our topic for tonight. So, basically, tonight we will speak about. We'll try to understand also the reason behind the gender violence and
Mhm.
how currently the European Union, the Europe in general, and also European culture across the different states that are part of the EU are facing this issue nowadays, and how, from our perspective of a young generation, mixed the millennial, Gen Z, and from different countries, we see this problem. So
Mhm.
basically, I would like to Arianna to introduce a bit what is for her the gender violence, how it is how it shows in our society.
Well, gender violence, I think, is a very controversial and highly challenging topic to analyze.
Mhm,
As this has like multi-phase, it's a multi-phase social issue. There are numerous
mhm,
ways in which violence against women can be expressed. Like the most
mhm,
highlighted one, especially in the media, are, for
mhm,
instance, when a woman is raped or murdered. But that is only the top of the iceberg, let's say. Like
mhm,
gender violence includes a lot of
mhm,
things, like, for example, street harassment, or that
mhm,
a woman for doing the same job as a man is receiving less money. It's
mhm.
very, very difficult to explain just in a few words what all this topic has inside.
Mm. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. And for you, Davide? from a man perspective, actually.
From a man perspective, yeah,
Men
that's
cis
interesting.
identifying cis perspective.
Well, in Italy nowadays, this topic has been covered a lot since the murder of a girl, 22 years old girl, who was murdered, killed violently by her ex former boyfriend. And so now,
You're
it
talking about
became a
the
mass
issue
media.
of just to
Giulia
make a
Cecchettin.
little, yeah,
I don't know if the news
just to
also
let know
overcrossed
also our
the
guest
Adriatic
about,
Sea. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
Basically
the mass
in
media.
Italy, basically in Italy, what happened? Just to just make a little point on this. We had an Italian girl. She was her name was Giulia Cecchettin. She has been killed, presumably, but maybe sure for sure because he confessed. He said yes, maybe from her ex-boyfriend, and her ex-boyfriend moved to Germany in order to run away from this situation. According with some reconstructions and some events that have happened in the past, she was a victim of violence from her boyfriend, psychological and physical violence. What has really came out in the media, it was the public speech of her sister. Her sister has clearly mentioned that this issue is not related to the specific person, but to all the male gender that is basically son of patriarchy. So now let's take the word patriarchy and let's hear Natalia. What do you think now? Do we have a real problem with the patriarchy?
Well, the patriarchy has been always present in our lives. The thing is that we didn't hear this word maybe 20 years ago. It was like a really new concept that we had. But I like to express that for women living in this society, in the patriarchy, has been always like or thing, no, that we had like a woman, we had to adapt ourselves to the world that was made and constructed by men. And it was not since some philosophies and some, let's say, thinkers that started to think about the right that we can have, that the woman can have. So it wasn't until this time, that it was 30 years ago, that this concept didn't started to be present in our lives.
I understand. But anyway, I will try to breach a bit this atmosphere. One of the topic that maybe sometime in the gender violence is not really mentioned too much is the opposite situation when a man gets the violence from a woman. The violence against a man is a bit different. Maybe in some cases can be physical, okay, but not much. The big issue that we have as men is currently is the big psychological violence, based on the fact that we have to be, like, say, the supportive of the family in terms of economic aspect, in terms of financial aspect, but also in the term of the masculinity that in some cases is considered a problem, in other cases is considered sexy by the other side. I mean, even you as a woman, I don't know, of course, according with your taste, but for sure, a man that has an let's say healthy masculinity is more attractive than men with a bad masculinity. But anyway, both of them are a side of the masculinity. So how you in your way you think this it can be can help you to understand if a man can be possible violent person against.
Well, I will say that. I mean, you
Eh,
are right. Um,
Natalia, I want to join. No worry, Natalia, step in.
oh, sorry. I think Ariana maybe is a bit late with with the sound,
The audio. Oh,
with the audio. Yeah.
all right.
I wanted.
I didn't notice.
Can you? I wanted to say because I couldn't listen, Antonio, the last part of the question.
Oh, okay. So basically, according with the fact that the masculinity can be attractive in some cases and also a bit repelling on the other cases, how you identify if a man it can be violent according with the masculinity that it shows? How you identify something like that? How you can identify something like that?
Well, I mean, I wanted to say that
Yeah,
you are
go
right. That,
Natalia. Go ahead. No problem.
okay. That I mean, this is so normal that this question comes. I mean, shows up when we are talking about violence against women, because it's like, well, men can be feel a bit threatened, like in the sense that, okay, but what happened with us, because we are also violated by your partner, and we
Mhm.
it's something like, yeah, it can happen, of course, but it's important to understand that the violence against women is something systematic. I don't know if it makes
Okay.
sense. It is something that
Systematic. Okay.
was,
Okay.
yeah, it has been
Yes.
established in our institutions, in the laws, in the right, in our families, in our
Mhm.
friends. I mean, in our friends circles. So
Mhm.
we don't deny. I mean, it's not the thing is that women, we don't deny that men can also be violated. No, no, we never say that. It
Mhm.
can happen, and it's well, yeah, it's of course it's a pity. But it's important to understand, like, the difference, no, like the violence against women. It has been established um, in our society, in our institution, in our families, like in all the human history. And this is something related to sexism. I mean,
Sexism.
the fact
Okay.
that
Okay.
the fact that the man has to be like the strong, that
Mhm.
cannot cry, that
Mhm.
it's the one that have to provide like the food, the money,
Mhm.
to the
Mhm.
house. This is also sexism, and this is something that we
Sexism.
also
Mhm.
fight against it, you know.
Okay. Okay. Ariana, you want to add something to the comment of Natalia?
Uh, no, like I mostly agree with her. Like, and I think that a feminist that doesn't take into account men's reality, how men are affected by the patriarchy as well, is not a useful feminist for everyone. And also,
Okay.
like regarding what you said, I found it very interesting the last part of the question when you said about
Mhm.
the toxic masculinity and the hell
Mhm.
masculinity.
Mhm.
I don't think that men with a, I mean, let's generalize. Like, I don't think a man like with a toxic masculinity, that it's a very famous topic right now. It's a mean
Mhm.
man. At the end, he has been socialized under certain laws, certain social patterns, and at the
Mhm.
end, it's not a matter of being a bad man, an aggressive man. It's a matter about
Mhm.
what type of education that man has received
Mhm.
during his life.
Mhm.
Okay. Davide, because you have heard the answer of Natalia and Arianna. Uh, do you think according to the Arianna, she mentioned the education, no, that is a part of crucial part of this kind of of difference between the toxic masculinity and the not toxic masculinity. Do you agree with that? Do you think we as Europe, I mean, no, we are doing enough to give the right education to the men in order to let them control their masculinity, their bad aspect of their masculinity, let's say.
Yeah, First of all, I wanted to add something about
Yeah.
what Antonio said before, because you said that in some cases the violence against women can be triggered, can be produced by the fact that some men feel like rejected because of their physical aspect, but in most of the cases it's not about the physical aspect, but physiological, psychological mindset of some men. However, it can be, but in most of the cases of violence against women, we see, the violence come from boyfriend, husband. So they are men who have not been rejected, in fact, indeed. So they had the opportunity to build up a relationship. So that's controversial. I mean, in my opinion, it's not about it's not about the physical. I mean, in most of the cases, violence come from the inner relationship. There are not. Of course, we have cases of serial killers, for example, but they are very rare, especially in Europe, and the number of these cases got reduced.
Yeah, we can see after some stats
thanks to
actually. if you
the
want.
improvement of investigation and
We also some statistics actually about that if you are interested.
yeah.
So
But we are talking about
let's-
domestic violence, which is another kind of problem.
domestic
which is
violence
different
is
from because external violence. It's about women. It's about men. I mean, people who can be stolen. It's about many cases. But now the focus is on the inner, the internal, the inside aspect of
But even the
relationship. So the
domestic,
toxic relationship, actually.
Okay, but in according with the European Union, the domestic violence is part of the gender violence against the gender. So basically, it is included in the big, the big circle of it. So
I mean, there is a difference between toxic relationship and casual rape. Casual rape come from, I don't know, it's more about physiological need of some men who can refrain themselves. Of course, it's a big problem, but when we talk about toxic relationship, we are talking about something specific, I mean, psychological effects and sick men. I mean, in Italy, some intellectuals, politicians, they are talking about the fact that the change of the traditional family, since the man a long time ago, traditionally speaking, was at the center of the family, nowadays that his rule has changed, drastically. I mean, since the women rightly,
now
of
can
course,
work
they became much more power. They became much influential within the family as well as within the society itself. There are some men that, due to their education and due to their culture, they can't accept that. I mean, it's difficult. So it's psychological. It's not physiological, because the rape is more about physiological. Now we are talking about psychological effects of the fact that some men who can't accept this change.
Okay. So
I wanted to add something.
Yes,
About
Natalia, go ahead, no problem.
Well, I wanted to say that unfortunately we only know the cases of violence against women that comes out from the media, no, from newspaper, from television.
Yes, of course.
We only know these cases of violence, But the thing is that the violence against women, as Ariana said at the beginning, it shows in different ways. Like it can be economically, it can be psychologically, it can be also physical.
Okay. Economically, for example, can you make an example with the economical?
Like the
Yeah, it's like,
disparity
for
of the
example,
salary.
like for example, if there is a family, well, it will be the husband, the man of the family, the head of that it, in let's say the head of the family that will take charge of the money that comes to the house. So maybe they only let the woman to spend a specific amount of money.
Okay, I understand. Now we will go a bit ahead in a more political way, okay? More on the top side of everything, no? Some of you, we mentioned about the violence against the woman, and as we know, there are many countries that are trying to make laws in order to protect the woman, to give to make a safe environment for them. Okay, this is happening in Europe, is happening in United States, is happening in Canada, is happening in Japan, is happening almost everywhere in the world. Okay, with some difference that we can easily understand from the CGI index. Okay, however, one of the most recent and interesting let's say event that have proposed this that they've tried to make some international rule about it was the convention on Istanbul. Did you ever had this convention? Did you ever had any opportunity to check a bit?
I've heard about it.
Yeah.
Isabel, but
Ariane?
not very deep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure that you are going to
Basically,
explain it, no?
yes, exactly. So basically, Istanbul Convention, was a convention promoted by the European Union. It was made in Istanbul. As we know, Istanbul is the capital of the Turkey, one of the country that.
No, that's Ankara, I think.
Actually, yes,
It's like
one of the
it's
most
tricky.
important.
It's like New
Ankara.
York and Washington. It's tricky.
Yeah,
The most
exactly. It's not the
the
capital.
center,
Exactly.
the economic
The
center is
economic
Istanbul,
center,
of course.
okay, is Istanbul. Okay, Ankara is the political one. It's like in Sydney
Like
and
Milan and Roma, of course.
Ottawa.
Milan is much more better than Rome. I'm joking.
Exactly. Anyway, Istanbul in this convention, what happened there in 2017? The European Union they have tried to make the base for some of the laws that should have been approved and ratified by all the European member states. The funny thing is that some countries never ratified that laws. Some are those countries: Bulgaria, Czechia, Slovakia, Latvia, Lithuania, Hungary, and Slovakia, the Czech Republic and the Slovakia.
Ex-Soviet Union countries.
Ex-Soviet, exactly. Do you think that there is a reason why those countries then didn't ratify yet, in your perspective, in your opinion, and also in what you could have seen?
Can you repeat the countries? Bulgaria, Hungary?
Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Latvia, Lithuania, Hungary, and Slovakia.
The ex-Soviet Union, basically.
Yeah.
All right. So do you think why?
Well, I guess that you will have to see the history of these countries, as David has said, and see that their inclusion to the European Union was late. The exit from the URSS, from the
Soviet Union.
was also like some years ago. So I guess, like, for example, social movements here are going slow yet. So this can be also seen in how they apply I mean, how they ratify the laws and for example, this convention.
All right, all right. Arianna, you want to add something?
If I'm right, in some of those countries, they have a right-wing government. So maybe I guess that the politicians who are right now on the power,
Oh,
they are leading that decision. Of course, there are
okay. So do you
societies,
think
as said, like Eastern
you?
European, they have a lot of influence of the religion. They have a
Okay,
strong
okay.
influence of that.
All right.
So
You mentioned two things that are very triggering for me. The right parties, the fact that most of those governments are right parties, and the fact that there is a huge religion impact in the society. Now, we're living in a country, as you know, this is called Greece, and Greece has a huge impact. The government is a right party government led by Mitsotakis. If he's listening, Kalimera Mitsotakis, Kalispera Mitsotakis. But also the fact that there is another state in Greece is called the Church of Greece. Literally, the Church is another state. Everything the Church does is a law. So why then the Greece is not like those countries? Or maybe on the surface is like them, is like the other European country that has approved some law to protect women, but behind is not like that. Which is your experience in that term? Of course, in generic way.
well, as Natalia mentioned, Greece joined the European Union at the same time in Spain. I think they joined like in the late 90s or at the beginning of the 2000s. So that influenced, obviously, because you had to go with the flow of your, let's say, your partner countries. You had to go with
Okay.
them. And also, yes, maybe in the surface, like me as an Spanish woman living in Greece, I have noticed a big cultural shock when it's about relating with men or how women act in the Greek society. I think it's more traditional
Like,
compared to the Spanish values.
okay, more traditional, more traditional. And Natalia?
Yeah, the same, the same.
You
Ariana
agree with that?
and my female friends, we always talk about it, and there is a huge difference between
Mm,
big men
mhm.
and Spanish men, for example.
Okay. And
But it's not
this,
men; it's a cultural thing.
do you think this it affects how there is even the perception of violence against the woman in in those countries?
Yeah, I mean, I feel that here they play a very traditional role
Mhm,
in the relationships.
mhm,
Like for example, we talk about it. Like for example, men have to pay everything for the woman. Men have to provide everything to the house, and the woman is more for I don't know for what is for the woman here.
For
On that I can
affection
agree.
and
On that I
care.
can agree. On that I can agree in total. We have
So
I have
I see.
by the personal experience that shows this, unfortunately, for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
So
a very paternalist society.
yeah,
hmm,
but in this way, according with the fact that anyway the patriarchy for some category of feminists is considered a bad thing. How is that possible that anyway we have a Greece which is has a very low SIG index? If we consider the violence against a woman in Greece is very low, it's almost the same level of Italy, of Spain, or many other countries in terms of numbers, of course. But still much more
Never trust numbers
connected.
and never trust
yeah,
statistics.
yeah. I
Cala,
never
never
trust
trust the
numbers in
numbers.
these cases because yeah.
Because it's
Okay,
also about
okay.
how they measure the gender violence.
All right, all right.
And many
Interesting,
and in
interesting.
many it's also happened over in I mean all over the world, not only in Greece or in Spain
No, no,
or
no.
Italy.
We can.
That
I
woman
have the data.
doesn't take the how to say valentia, like the doesn't feel brave to get to how do you say denunciar, Ari?
Denuncia
I mean, to
when
go
you
to the
say
police and
you
to
report
say,
you
hey,
report
this is
them.
happening. So there are
You
many,
report them.
many more cases than the numbers
Then
says.
yes, but this is in everything. There are always more cases than the number
It's also
says.
like about victim blaming. In my opinion, I think in Spain, for example, if you support the victim will go to the police. If you don't give that support, that psychological to support to the victim, they are not going to the police because they will feel blame, they will feel ashamed. So
It's
at
the
the
same
end,
happening in Italy too. Davide
you will
again,
have
a big
lower
example of that.
statistics in this type of countries who doesn't support the victim.
So basically, the statistic is not correct because it is biased on this issue. So, David, do you have a question for us you want to mention?
Yeah, two things. First of all, about the wing right parties. So basically, 3 days ago, Matteo Salvini, who is one of the leader of one of the most influential, powerful Italian right party, Lega, he organized, set up a meeting in Florence with other politicians who were from the right-wing European parties like Alternative for Deutschland, the right-wing party of Romania, from Poland as well, also Marie Le Pen, who is the leader of the Front National in France. They all joined this event in Florence, and so when they do this kind of meetings, there is a specific meaning behind it. I mean, the ideology of the right is the same of 70 to 80 years ago. I mean, as the national socialism in Germany and the fascism in Italy, their ideology, they had something in common about women. I mean, women were perceived and were used. So there was a materialized process of woman in that case, because women were considered like a machine to produce like the new natives who could like
Newbies. So
so
they were just
increase the population.
kids manufacturer, let's say.
Yeah,
The kids
yeah,
factories.
kind of.
Okay.
So when and also in Italy, when Meloni says that women should do much more, should have much more sons and daughters, she's expressing a clear message of the ideology of the right wing. I mean, it's always the same. The right wing, it's always the same. They didn't change their mindset, their ideology about the rule of the women into the society. So what I want to say is when they organize this meeting, when they say these things, they are talking to a specific part of their their voters. Because when some voters, conservative ones, I mean, people like men who are 50 years age, but there are also women, because why in those countries like Latvia, Hungary, there haven't been any change? But we have to try to ask ourselves, do the women of those countries, they really want to change it? I mean, it's like a provocation, my question, but in my opinion, there are some women who don't want to change that system. That maybe they got used, or maybe
Do in this point,
due to the
according
propaganda of their countries, they see the model,
maybe
the society
to
model of the
make
West countries like something very bad. I mean, because in Italy, for example, why did the women get much more power later the Second World War? Because many women joined the resistance, against Nazi Germany, against
Natalia has a very good experience on that. She has been
So
in
they
the
played.
Archie.
So
Natalia,
they played a very important role for the
let's say
liberation
now,
of Italy from
let's show that
Wow,
you
the
are
Axis on the right.
a partigiana.
No, don't say that.
So in order
Say
to
that you're a
change
partigiana. Come on, you can say it.
what I want to say is that
Yeah.
the change comes from, it's not top down. The government, the politicians, they can't change anything if the button don't want to change. It's not only about men, because women in Italy, they got their rights because they did fight in the squares in the 60 years. They got the abortion law, they got the divorce law, because the women wanted to do that, not men, of course. Women got their rights by fighting, by playing a role into the society. In those countries, it's not like that. Maybe the new generation, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that some women, there is a consistent part of women in those countries that maybe they don't want to change the system. Maybe because they're not that powerful, because they are scared, or maybe because some of them, they are scared of the change, not of the reaction, the reaction of men, but they are scared of change their perspective about a new society.
Yeah.
So, what do you? So, I try to make a little synthesis of what he said. Basically, according with the fact that we have these right wings, etc. The issue is that maybe some women in some of those countries, maybe they don't want to change their condition. They don't want really to be, let's say, more open. That, like we would say, more free, more independent from, let's say, from a patriarchy society, or from a society where the man is still the strong, let's say, the person that brings the money at home, let's say. So, do you think this is something that applies also in some in some areas of Spain, in some other areas of Italy, or some areas of Greece, as you have experienced?
Yeah. Well, Ari, do you want to say something?
I just wanted to
Ari?
say that it's when you grow up in a society, you are facing a socialization process. And
Okay.
once it's like, for example, the women who grew up in an Islamic country. Like, are you going to change, like, for example, a woman 50 years old, are you going to change their entire mindset? Like, I don't think that is the woman that they don't want to change. I just think that it's a generational change, and every society evolves on their own rhythm, let's say. And unfortunately, maybe we are going to see changes in Eastern Europe, like maybe in 20 years. While in Spain, we already have a lot of changes and a lot of achievement that women's did. But anyways, other thing I would like to add is like the change. I think it comes both ways. It's a retroalimentation between the state and the bottom part of the society.
Okay. So you see
And
the
Natalia, I don't know if you
relation
want
that.
to add something.
No, okay. You explain very well in sociological words, but yeah, it's basically this. I just wanted to say that well, it's quite difficult to change the mindset of people when they were raised up with some specific education, and as we said, like the social movement arrived to your country now, or 5 years ago, or 10 years ago. So as Ariana said, it's quite difficult to change these mindsets. It's not that women are more comfortable or are against or are for having this position. It's more that they didn't have the chance to have this information, to have been educated in this way. And yeah, as Ariana explained very well. Yeah.
All right. Do you have Ariana? You have a question for us? Maybe you want to see our point of view on something.
No worries, if pop-ups, I
Oh,
will ask you.
we try to make it, the opposite. We are not the interviewer. We are the person that get interviewed.
No, because now you ask me, and it's like, what should I ask?
Wow! Immediately, bam! Like I smash them, crack it, and yes, because with the main
Uh,
topic to talk about, yeah, would be impossible to not disrupt a bit.
and I also I want to add something. Like actually, women we started to um, have right, let's say,
Mhm,
in the middle. I mean, in 1950, let's say,
mhm,
more or less. So we've been going through a lot of social changes in the late 70 years. No, you have to think that 70 years of changes of having right or changing like the role that women we have in society. These 70
mhm.
years is nothing compared to the whole human history.
Mm, okay, interesting. So yes, I agree with that. 70 years is not enough. Anyway, we need more generation, especially
Yes, I have
with the
a very
fact
good
that
question because David made me think a lot. Sorry.
yeah,
Ah,
say.
lo siento mucho.
Sorry, what were you
Uh,
saying, Antonio? I interrupt you.
no. I agree with what she said. That it's Natalia with the fact of 70 years in generation, especially nowadays where we have a generation that doesn't change as before. Before we
Mhm.
had generation where the newborns were always a bit more than the people that were getting older in the society. We
Mhm.
are now having a society that is completely changing in terms of balance between the youngers and the olders, which means also that some uh, decision made by the politics that, as we know, the politicians they are just a little representation of the society and how the society is made. Of course, they become more connected with the past. So let's say they still, in some way, preserving the old way of thinking about the man and woman in the society. And this applies also in many countries, as we can see in Europe. In Italy, for example, is one of the many, but even in Greece, if we think about, considering the fact also that the younglings are going away from those countries and they are going to be younglings in other countries. I mean, as we know, even you, if you think about, we are all of us, we are young, and we are living as youngers in a new society, not in the society where we come from. So basically, we don't add the value to our countries, even in terms of people belonging to that country, even in terms of ideas, even in terms of mindset, because
Mhm.
our mindset is more a European open mindset compared with the people left that are in that country. And in Spain, you can see this very well, especially if you come from small towns. I mean, so and this of course affects also how we can see the woman in our society and how we see the gender in our society and the other different also spectrum of sexuality, because as we know the gender violence it covers also the sexual violence, that kind of sexual violence that are related with the preferences of the sexual preferences of the people. So I just wanted to do a little check, and just to show you some of let me see, you can see it. You can see the screen soon. You can
Mhm.
see, all of you are seeing the screen. So we
Mhm.
can see this is a little report. I
Yes,
have also
it's
shared
chat.
the from the you can see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful. So this is a little report that shows from the European Union. It's made by the OECD. It shows some information about the gender equality in time of crisis. No, we are living a very huge crisis. No, that it started literally with 2020 with the pandemic. and then still going on with the crisis related with the war in Ukraine, the war in Israel and Palestine, the crisis that comes from the Sudan and the Sahel wars, etc., etc. So, as I was mentioned before, the CGI index. This is the file that shows us which countries are in the very low CGI index. CGI is still for it's an index for the social with the anyway the violence against specific genders and women in that specific table. And we
Antonio,
will
can
see
you
that,
make it bigger? Because I cannot see the name of the
yeah,
countries.
yeah, you can see the name of the countries now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see.
A bit
All
more, a
right,
bit more.
we have some interest, and we can see that
Yes.
most of the country,
I'm a bit blind, sorry.
Yeah, can you make it a bit more bigger?
bigger,
Yeah, it's the
bigger than
color and everything. Yeah.
you can see. Okay, so we can
It's
see
because
the
of the
very low
color.
country.
It's the colors, yeah.
Yeah, the color. Yeah, sorry for that. Fortunately, I cannot change them. But we have some, and we can see what is very interesting that some countries that are here, some of them are very rich country. Basically, most of them are from the G20,
Yeah.
and some of them are countries that you don't expect, like Belize. Belize has a very low CGI score. Mongolia, very low CGI score. Mozambique, very low CGI score, which means is very strange, no? According with the fact that Mozambique, it is one of the country that has a very strong patriarchy society. It doesn't surprise Rwanda, but you see, even here, Spain, there is also Spain. Now, of course, as we mentioned before, the numbers are not to be trusted, especially in this kind of situation, because some of those numbers are just to official sources. So basically, and as we know, sometimes the number of official sources can be a bit biased or can be a bit manipulated by the political parties in order to obtain some results, no? Uh, how much you agree with the position of the Spain in this classification? As you can see, Spain is there.
Antonio, I don't understand very well. I mean,
I
it said
agree.
discrimination. Sorry, discrimination in social institution. Okay, continues to but how? I mean, what type of discrimination is this? Like a woman representation or
Discrimination in social
individual or
institutions. Discrimination in social institution in this case. See, to hamper women empowerment in many countries. So basically, we can see here there is a low discrimination in terms of women in social institutions. Let's
according to
say,
the SIGI score? What is SIGI?
exactly, CGI score. I tell you. It's a range, okay, that indicates 0 with no discrimination and 100 indicating absolute discrimination. Scores indicator also called similarly. Okay, it's called social institutions and gender index. So basically, it shows how much the society is discriminatory. Okay, in
Okay.
terms of giving opportunities to women in the society, in the social institutions. Now, as we can see, the Spain is in very low, no? Like Czech Republic, like Denmark, like Dominican Republic, like Italy, even Greece. So, how much do you agree with that? So, let's say in Spain, do you think the women are very well represented inside the society, inside the social institutions, and also the other categories?
I mean, we have still work to do, but comparing to other countries, for sure, uh,
Okay.
we are in a good position. And I really like the topic you are bringing to the table because reminds me like the how the social class and your economic level can influence also in this topic. Like it's a bit controversial because you cannot say like, oh, the poorest countries are the most machist ones, while the richest one are the who has less discrimination against women, because it's something that can happen in every social structure, let's say. But it's intersection that we need to bear in mind when we are talking about gender violence.
Okay. And do you think this it is also related with the fact that some countries have approved quicker some law in order to protect the woman from the violence instead of the others? So the presence of the woman in the social institution have led the countries to approve some laws to protect them
Of course.
quicker than others. Yes. All right, Natalia, you want to say something?
Of course, and it's also what we were talking before that.
Yeah. Ariana, say.
Nata,
No, go, Ariana. Go. Finish.
sorry, I forgot what I was saying. That it's yes, when we were talking
Okay,
before
so
about why a woman goes. What happened?
can you say? I cannot. I think we
Yeah.
have some
Why
technical
a woman?
trouble.
What?
Why a woman? Hello, Ariana, can you hear us? You have
Ariana?
some delays.
Hello?
Yeah.
You have delays.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay,
Yeah.
so what
You
you
were
are saying?
saying something. Why woman? What?
Yes.
Estabas diciendo
That
algo en
what?
plan, why woman? Que no. Okay.
Sorry.
Dilo say in Spanish.
Yes,
Say in Spanish.
why
No problem.
woman's? No, it's like I was hesitating about talking because I didn't know you were listening to me, or if
No,
if
we
the
are
audio
listening
goes
to you.
with
We are
that.
here to listen you. Don't worry. We listen you. No problem. We can hear you. Sorry for technical trouble.
Okay, so I was saying that it's if a woman goes to the police to say it's because has an institution who is supporting that woman, and if you don't have that support from the state and from the government, at the end women are more desprotected.
Okay.
And that's why we need to have a stronger institution to support us,
Okay.
and laws that helps the
Talia?
victim and punish the.
Need to get punished. Okay.
It's curious to see that a country
say
like El
that.
Salvador, which
Yeah.
is, if I'm not wrong, is the country with the highest level of gang crimes and murders in the world. And at the same time, it's located in the lowest score about,
CGI.
social
Yeah.
institution discriminations against women. So it's controversial. I mean,
It's interesting. Yeah, it's something that we should discuss more and understand.
and there are also some countries like, of course, also El Salvador, but there are also like Zimbabwe, for example, or in the second
Jamaica.
classification,
Maybe it can be
Bosnia,
related with the
Burkina
numbers.
Faso, Cambodia.
Burkina
So
Faso.
the discrimination against women is not linked to the
Costa
GDP of the countries, because there are some countries that in this case they have a very low GDP, but on the other side they improved a lot about gender equality.
It's true. It is true. It is true. Natalia,
I will.
you want to say something?
I will. I would say maybe an idea that I have why this is like this, because if you see the chart, you can see also Latvia, I think, or Lithuania, and this is a country that, for example, was not agree with this convention from Istanbul, no. So
Yes,
I
exactly.
think maybe I will. I mean, I'm not an expert, and it's only an idea that came up to my mind. Maybe we have to make a difference between what happened, let's
Between
say,
politics and the
it's,
facts, the reality.
yeah, I mean, what happened in the street, and let's say in the society in general, and what happened in the institutions, no, to make this difference. Because I will imagine that this low rate in these countries can be maybe because of the well, now women can study, no, so they can apply for this type of work.
Yeah.
uh, so we have maybe to make a difference between what happened in the street. I mean, I can see also United States, and I think that United States is one of the, well, not, well, it's dangerous, no, like there are some states there where they are making some laws, like for example this law about abortion, that some states make against, and they are also there.
Yeah, there is a difference between. Oh, sorry.
No, yeah, in this church, yeah.
Ora abbiamo il
Yeah, I mean
commento
there
di
is a difference.
Ciro che ci saluta dall'incontro con... sorry. We have Ciro that says to us that he's sorry for not being present tonight, as he is doing some networking with Mr. Zaki. Yeah, you cannot see him because you know Patrick Zaki. Maybe some of you have heard about, especially you, Natalia. Is this guy that has been detained in Egypt, and in Italy there was a huge. They were trying to get him out from the jail. He's related with the case that maybe you have seen in Italy a lot. Is the Regeni case?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, maybe in the Arci in Catania they have discussed about. So maybe. Come on, he was belonging to the left parties.
I think we should make a difference between social institutions, I mean
Mhm.
law, and what Natalia was saying, what it happens on the streets, in the school. I mean between girls and boys when they talk each other, because most of the cases the discrimination happens on the street, in the school, not in the social institution, because in social institutions they have to show,
And this
they have to
this point it
um,
brings us to our last let's say we're going to conclusion.
accomplish with the rules,
Yeah, exactly. We are going to the
because
conclusion.
El Salvador, I can totally say that, in my opinion, on the streets, women they have been facing lots of problems.
Okay. So
Also
this
Colombia,
little.
I lived in Colombia, and in my opinion,
What you think, in your opinion, Colombia shouldn't be there?
I mean,
Shouldn't be there.
there is a lot of masculine ideology,
Okay.
also between teenagers.
All right.
I did teach English in the school, so in my
I have
opinion,
just
there is a difference between law and what it happens in the real life.
okay.
Among
Now
people.
let's go. Yeah, let's go to the conclusion because we are going to the end. Last part. Let's say the real life experience. Of course, all of us we had experience around the world. So, how now? This very quick question: how do you feel? Do you feel that currently in the country where you live, you are enough protected from the gender violence?
Do you
And if
mean
you have
by
any case
the government or by
by the institutions that should protect you,
society or
society, government, everything, overall.
I mean,
Could be better and
fortunately,
could be worse. I don't know if
yeah.
you get me.
Like, make an example, Ariana. Ariana, make an example.
Okay, you were
Champagne.
sorry.
Make an example.
I don't know. For
It's some
example, the
champagne.
street harassment that I had here in Athens, I never had it in Spain in my life. For example, just the
Okay.
quickly example that came to my mind.
But literally is commonly accepted. It's not that let's say a man or another woman say to him, "Hey, please stop! Don't do that." They just walk away and they say, "Yes." They do some catcalling and then nobody cares, or how they act.
I mean, I shout to them because that's what I will do always, and I try to educate a little bit, but sometimes it's totally useless and it's just a loss of energy.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Because I've seen the opposite. I've seen a woman that really liked to be catcalled. They say,
Yeah,
okay, they look.
depending. That's what we were talking. That depends on the education you have received. For me, it's totally disrespectful that a man say something
Yeah,
about
for
my
you.
butt or about my on the street.
Yeah, here is common. Here, they want you to do that. They want you to do this. Really, sometime I notice this in the metro. It looks like they want you to watch them in a certain way. It's
For me,
unbelievable. It's
when they do to
unbelievable.
me, I feel like a piece of meat. Honestly, I cannot
Okay.
handle that type of.
Davide, you had some catcalling experience in Milan. Come on, Italians
I
are
mean,
common, are very well known
on
for doing
me,
that.
from women. I mean,
From
on me,
women on
no,
you, or from
no,
or you on a woman, or you on a
no.
woman, man.
Uh, honestly, no. I mean, no. Of course, sometimes there are some women or girls who dress up in a certain way, but I think it's you can watch, but also in a normal way. I mean,
Of course, you can
there are
watch, you can
there are
see
always some
something,
limits,
but you don't need
because
to
in my
jump
opinion, if
certain borders.
Or you can
sorry,
you can have the sunglasses and watch under the sunglasses.
no. I mean, in my opinion, if some women dress up in a certain way, they also like to attract maybe to appear in a very elegant way. So, but it's important to fix some limits, from men, from boys. So
Because Davide is a gentleman. Davide is a gentleman.
no, it's not about gender. This is my character. I am also
I
pretty
know.
shy,
I
introvert.
know.
So
I'm a
there
kid. I'm a kid.
are some men who are much more extrovert, and sometimes they exacerbate the situation. So
I've
it's
seen
about
this
character.
multiple
It's not
times. I've
always
seen this
about
multiple times.
culture. Sometimes it's about how a person is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
All
it's
right,
you can
Natalia.
you can teach them, you can force them, but sometimes if someone is an asshole, is an asshole. I mean, you can't
All
change an
right.
asshole
All
somehow,
right. Natalia, you are the most wise of all of us.
Wow.
You talk small. You talk small, but you are very sharp when you say things. Now, I
Thank
will
you.
leave you the conclusion of this little live. What do you think? We, as people in society, and why we as society find very hard. We find very hard to start to don't accept anymore this kind of behaviors.
Well, I mean,
I know it's very hard to question, but
so repeat again, please,
so
so I can organize my
why,
ideas.
in your opinion, and of course
Yeah.
we can extend this question to anybody who wants to intervene, for our society, it's so hard to change those kind of behaviors?
Yeah. Okay. So, wow. No. I mean, for me, I have to highlight. I mean, for this question, I have to highlight that it's so important to have laws, to have right from our institutions, from our government, from our state that defend a woman right, and to defend and to protect this right, this right that we have women. it's important that also society approve, let's say, this kind. So if there is a disagreement between what happened in the institution and what happened in the street, let's say, then we have a problem, because the problem that we are living now, no, that the men are like feeling a bit threatened by what is happening with the feminism, and so this is something that you can heal. You can you can heal by educating people, no. I mean, we need something about respect, no? That I mean, woman, as I said before, no, like we've been having some changes in the history, the last 70 years in our history. No, this is nothing compared to all the human history and the patriarchy that we've been living in. So it's important that society and the people understand that this is a problem for everybody. So so we can make education, we can make a right to protect women. I don't know if I
Okay.
explained well myself.
So basically, I will leave you all with or just last question, and then we say bye, and maybe we can meet in another live if you want. Do you think that making a spectacle of the gender violence crimes helps the cause of reducing them? This is for
Repeat,
everybody. Yeah?
repeat,
Do you
repeat.
think making a spectacle of the gender violence crimes helps the cause, so helps to reduce them instead of maybe
No,
improving their rate?
no.
Arianna?
I don't know. That's a question that makes me think about how the media should face this problem. And honestly, I don't really know what to tell you. Like, it's true that the social media needs to cover these topics, but they have to know how to do it.
Okay.
Because if you cover a lot of news related with women's murder, women raping, but you put you highlight, for example, how was the victim dressing, or instead of saying this woman was murdered by his boyfriend, you said, "Oh, we found this woman dead in the street." You
Yeah.
are not solving nothing. Like, it's, I think. We shouldn't see gender violence as a show on TV, and
Okay.
sometimes they seem that they like to show it as a show, as a spectacle. And we need to learn how to show gender violence to the society, how to learn and how to improve the situation from this.
Okay.
Yeah, and
And
I
Davide?
want to sorry, no, go, Davide.
No,
No, sigue adelante.
No, Davide, go.
no, Natalia, adelante. That's okay.
Por
Go, go,
favor,
go.
adelante, siga.
Adelante.
No, nothing. This is something related to my work, no, my study, because I studied journalism, and this is something that that I've seen during my laureate, during my the baccalaureate degrees. Many times. For example, in Spain, we had the La Niña del Alcácer, that I think Ariadna knows, that it was a
Yes.
before and after in our society. Basically, there were 3 girls underage that were.
Yeah, there was a documentary on Netflix. I watched it.
Yes,
Yeah.
that
One of the father of the victim, he was criticized because he was invited in many shows. So it was spectacular result. But so they instrumentalized the sufferance of a father just to make sure. You can continue. Because I remember this documentary. It was very hard to see these triggers killed in that way. And in the
Yeah.
end, one guy was accused, but it was very strange, that case. Very, very strange. Weird.
Yeah, so this is a work for media. It's not a work for people. This is a work that media has to work on it. And if this work don't go with the with the flow of the social movement, then it's something that is in vain, no? And it's important us, I mean us, like we as audience, know the difference between when they are informing us, when they are giving us important information, when they are giving us like news that are really that have an impact on our lives, as men, as women, as black people, as white people, as Chinese, or as whatever, and know when they are using this piece of news and situations, when they are making an spectacle, no?
Okay.
Because this is
Questo
something
questo è
that media.
interessante. Sorry, this is very interesting because actually this topic can be taken in the next episode. We can make an episode only for on this case. Actually, you can, Natalia, you can give us a hint from the media perspective
Yeah,
why the
yeah,
media have
I
done
love
something like that.
I
Yeah, it
love
would be nice
And
to do.
basically, this is something like let's say like a fight between media, no? Who is giving more morboso? How do you say
Mhm.
morbos?
More,
More,
Morbos.
more
How do you,
audience.
no,
You are talking the word
wait, I will
audience. You're
tell
checking.
you this word in Italian. Morboso. How do you
morboso,
say?
yeah.
Morboso. Okay, morbus. Okay, like
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
sick approach. Okay, I
exactly.
understand.
Exactly,
All
exactly.
right, all right,
So this is like
all
a
right.
fight between media and newspaper. Who is giving more details in deep, so you can engage more people
More
to your
people.
newspaper, to your digital
Digital
portal,
product.
website, whatever.
Exactly.
So it's important to, as audience,
All right, to
stop for
improve the.
curiosity
All
and
right.
respect the situation of the victims, no? uh, because for example I will put again this example of the Las Niñas del Alcácer,
Alcazar.
that they were like showing it on television every night, the father, the or the family, many journalists, they were showing like intimate and personal things of the girls and giving like really creepy information about their lives that is really unnecessary. So we have to
All right.
make the difference about the important public information, no? This
And
right
not
that
a
we have,
relevant one, and not a
and
relevant one
then
that are for
yeah, and then the
yeah,
one that we have to respect for the honor,
honor and the
intimacy,
privacy of the people. Like so.
and privacy. Yeah, these three:
Yes,
honor,
I understand.
intimacy, and privacy. And this is something
So
really important.
I would call Davide for the last hint of the night. So Davide, overall this discussion, what do you think we can do as men to reduce the gender violence?
As I said before, my opinion, when politics and mass media start instrumentalizing, exploiting this issue, from one side, some mass media that are part of the left wings parties in Italy, they
Mhm.
try to exploit this case in order to make to criticize, to put in a bad side the Italian
Mhm.
government
No, come on,
because they
don't be
do
solid
not
all Italian government.
because
Let's
they
say in
do not
general,
have because they do not yeah, of course, but
they
in
do
this case
everywhere. They don't do only
yeah,
in
but
Italy.
in this case
So
yeah,
what do you
it's
think
about
we
gender.
can? Yeah,
So
all right. What we can do better? What we can do better?
it's not a solution because um 2 days ago another woman was killed by her husband. And
Okay.
yesterday, another Italian woman was attacked by acid in her face. So,
Mhm.
did did that solve the problem by making a show saying that all the men are bad because that was the main topic? Like there is a problem about men. No, there is a problem about being human in general. because when someone is criminal because his mind is criminal, not because he's a man or he's a trans or they are women. It's about being human. There are bad people, whether they are men, transsexual, or women. Of course, in this case, because of natural features, sometimes men can be some aggressive men. They can like exploit their physique to kill, to be aggressive, to attack, be violent against women. But in my opinion, if we exacerbate, I mean, if we put in a bad side all the men themselves because about their gender, we are only going to exacerbate, to extend, the division. But we have to try to
We
unite.
improve the
Yeah,
issue.
because most of the people
increase
are
the
good.
conflicts.
Most of the people are good. So we have to try to connect ourselves to find out a solution.
So with these words, we have to connect ourselves to find a solution. We will close this little live. Maybe we will make a new one and discuss the topic further from a different point of view. And maybe we will have also the little episode about the case of the trainees. And then from Antonio, from Davide, from Arianna and Natalia, it's all. I really thank you, Arianna and Natalia, for joining us tonight. And really, thank you a lot. We will be more than
Same
happy
to
to host
you
you in the
guys.
future. And wish you a very good night. And bye. See you.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
See you
Bye.
tomorrow.
Bye. Good
It
night.
was a pleasure. See you tomorrow.
See
Bye.
you. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye.
Bye bye.